Here's why I'm asking for your vote. For many people across the country, this election is a Hobson's choice. None of the options are good. The Liberal Democrats want to overturn the democratic vote and break the first principle of democracy, that you have to implement the result. The Labour Party want to negotiate their own deal with the EU and then campaign against it to remain. And the Conservatives? Boris says, let's get Brexit done. But as most people realised, it's essentially Theresa May's deal, the one he described as vassalage. And he was right, then. It's the worst of all worlds, tied to the EU, but without any representation, any votes or vetoes. That's why the EU want this big prize. They want a silent, captive market for their goods and our net contributions of billions. That's why they call the UK Treasure Island in Brussels. If the Conservatives do get a majority, we're in deep trouble. Boris says he'll push through the treaty by Christmas, which would give away all these things. And all we'd get in return is a chance to negotiate a trade deal with pre-agreed terms that would tie us to EU regulations and standards, prevent us from competing in global markets, and tie us to their taxation rules for imports and exports. But whilst the polls show that the Conservatives look almost certain to be the largest party in Parliament, the balance of power may well be held by the Democratic Unionists in Northern Ireland and the Brexit Party, who are concentrating all their efforts on winnable constituencies in the North and Wales, and by independent candidates like me, who are standing across the country. We will stop yet another Conservative attempt at betrayal, to paint themselves as Eurosceptics, but then act as Europhiles. We will only support an offer of a standard free trade deal, not one controlled by the European courts, or with all these crippling limitations attached. We have to take the bigger prize off the EU's table and offer a no strings attached free trade deal, something that has never been offered in 3.5 years. Economically, it would make sense for the EU to accept. Politically, it may not. That's their decision ultimately. The generally accepted figure of the cost of Boris's treaty over the next 3+ years it will realistically take to finalise a trade deal is 65 billion. Some of that money can be much better spent compensating that small but significant number of people who will lose out if the EU wants to reject our standard free trade offer. And then they and we will be free to invest in building our expanding global markets and to start buying the things we need from world markets at lower world prices, without sending import tax money to Brussels as we do now. Many people across the country don't know where to place their vote. They only have the options of the three main parties. But in Mole Valley, it's not Hobson's choice. It's yours, and we can make a difference. So please vote for me in the general election, and I will work exclusively and independently to represent you, not for a political party. Thank you very much for all your support throughout this campaign.